Communication is key. I'm sure you've all heard that line before. The world is just filled with these cliche one-liners that are supposed to be the answer to all our problems, isn't it? There's a very famous ancient Chinese saying that I like to think about every now and then whenever I'm at a loss for words. A phrase that's helped a lot of people gain a deeper meaning with the words we speak. Don't you mean Mandarin?
Shut! You're only making the joke take longer.
Now, you might be wondering, what does it mean? Why is this quote so important to me, and how is it supposed to help you? How do you even pronounce it? Well, to be honest...
I don't know. I don't understand Chinese.
What? You didn't like my cliche one-liner? But I said it just for you, and I really think that it can help you. After all, it helped me. Oh man, I'm starting to feel like we're not speaking the same language here.
I never know what you want!
Whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Everything happens for a reason. Right person, wrong time. If they wanted to, they would. The thing is, you can't just drop a one-liner on someone and disappear and expect the problem to disappear in the same way. Intention is not always the same as impact, because it's one thing to say it, but it's another to be able to communicate it. Person A needs to do their best to say what they want in a way that person B can understand, and person B needs to respond by showing person A how they received it. I can recite all the quotes and one-liners like communication is key over and over and over again, but it doesn't matter if I don't get any validation that you understood what I just said. Proving that you're listening is just as Proving that you're listening is just as important as your ability to talk.
Wait, what am I doing? I wasn't paying attention.
Speaking of language, let's break down the word communicate in Latin. Com, meaning with or together. Munus is an obligation, a gift, a duty, an occupation. In other words, meaning, nation, action. Communication, making, meaning, common. Isn't it interesting how much depth we get out of our words once we take time to understand the language? Listening to someone's needs, to understand who they are and what makes them feel safe, makes them feel loved, to some people can be almost as difficult as learning another language.
What?
Whether it's saying the right words to change your perspective, giving them the gift of unconditional attention, or simply giving them the space to grow into the person they were always meant to be. Kumusta sa lahat? Ako si CJ. Hey guys, CJ here. These past few months, I feel like I've been drowning in the pool of honest self-reflection, reality checks from friends, obsessive late-night research, and of course, professional help.
Something I don't canonically have any knowledge of!
And I'm willing to admit that it really changed how I saw myself socially. One late September night, I decided to finally go out and touch grass, which eventually led me to realizing that anxiety-inducing romantic delusions might just be what pushes me towards abstraction.
And it's only going to get worse from here.
I've come to realize that I have a hilarious case of what is known as an anxious attachment style, or as I like to call it, a yearning disability. Ever since then, both my therapist and my algorithm have both been love bombing me with all these self-help spirals and echo chamber content like I'm in some sort of internet intervention. If I were to explain anxious attachment in my own words and experience, basically, my mind and body can't tell the difference between someone needing time to figure things out and being held at fucking gunpoint.
It's called a manic episode, and you're getting 3 more seasons! Anyway.
Always overthinking, always apologizing, always worried someone's need for distance meant needing distance from me because of something I did or didn't do. Always trying to meet someone halfway even though they're walking in a different direction, all because holding on hurts less than letting go.
You completely lose sight of who you are and why you're even alive, and when you reach your breaking point, something really terrible can happen.
Of course, in the same learning process, I've come to learn about the other attachment styles. You've got secure attachment and its opposite, disorganized attachment. Then there's me with anxious attachment, and of course, the infamous avoidant attachment. Long ago, the 4 attachment styles lived in harmony, until the anxious decided to fall for the avoidant. These attachment styles explain how people react when love feels uncertain, unmet, or of course, uncommunicated. Understanding that I'm anxiously attached is just the first step, but I also had to realize that I'm getting attached in the only way I know how. I'd like to think I've been taking the steps towards a more secure attachment style, but we all know that broken glass needs to be picked up carefully. Love is a great thing, but as we'll discuss often in this video, some of the things that hurt the most are the lack of love, or the fear of love, or even the doubt of love. If the attachment styles are how we defend our hearts, the love languages show us how we offer them. The 5 love languages. We know them as acceptance, bargaining, denial, anger, depression. Wait, this is the wrong script. The 5 love languages. We all know what they are, or at least I don't think you'd be clicking this video if you didn't. I'll go over them, but with my own twist that I want you to stick around for. This is the Cyberpsych channel after all, and you should all know by now that you're not allowed to be happy until the last few minutes of the video. I can't make an emotionally charged hopecore video without making you sad first.
Where's the intrigue? The stakes?
Not to mention the sex appeal.
What are you talking about?
Every single one of us speaks at least one or more of the love languages. It's how we maneuver through all of our relationships with each other. All relationships, romantic, platonic, and familial. The concept is simple. The ways in which you express your love essentially falls into one of these categories. But more importantly, each of us is more fluent in some languages than the others. My favorite, words of affirmation. Love through spoken clarity. Not just praise, but verbal acknowledgement as well.
Everything's gonna be okay, new stuff. We've all been through this.
I'm proud of you. I see how hard you're trying. I feel safe when I'm with you. I love the person I've become since you came into my life.
You're very strong, Pomni, and I know you'll be able to get through this. Just hold on to me. We'll get through it together.
In today's world of information warfare, this digital circus that we're all trapped in, that clarity, that validation can be the difference between someone's reality and their rumination. You're helping them fill in the blanks before they start trying to read between the lines. Quality time. Undivided attention met with unchallenged presence. A surprise date fully planned a month in advance, or even a last-minute late-night drive around the city. Having meaningful conversations about the future, but also non-stop yapping about your recent hyperfixations. It's not about the activity, it's about the attention.
What's with the corn thing?
Well, I don't know. It's got a bunch of little pods on it.
Interesting. I'm learning a lot about you today.
A candlelit dinner that you cook together, showing them your favorite movie that you've already seen 10 times, waiting for them to react to your favorite parts, walking side by side underneath the stars, unsure of where things will go, but already knowing you're exactly where you need to be. These are shared experiences, the kind of experiences that you'll be looking back at years from now since they've defined who you are and who this person is to you. It's saying, when I'm with you, the rest of the world can wait. As far as I'm concerned, you're my world right now. A classic, receiving gifts, a token of appreciation, a physical reminder of your relationship, a souvenir, a favorite snack, sharing a song or post that made you think about them, or even making a video essay that talks about how much you've learned about love since you've met them.
Are you smiling?
No.
Why not?
It's not about the object, it's about the subject. It's not about the price, it's about the value. It's telling them this thing made them feel close to you even when they weren't even there.
Hey, I found this AK thing. If we can't find the Tommy gun, will this work?
It's telling them, hey, this reminded me about something we talked about the weekend we met. Something I've never talked to anyone else about before. And I hope this reminds you of how much it meant to me.
Here, take this.
Let's talk acts of service, romantic reliability, doing something helpful and thoughtful for someone for the sole purpose of knowing it will make life more peaceful for them.
I can close for you if you want.
Huh?
The opportunity to be useful to them is the award. Actions speak louder than words, so there's a special kind of feeling that takes place when action is taken before a word is even said.
Would that be okay?
I think so. You should go home and get some rest.
Taking full charge of the date plans, handling the tasks they've been dreading, following through on the promise you made them a while back. It's proving to them that they're not walking this life alone, that there's someone in their life that they can depend on.
Wait!
Trust me, partner, I got this!
Now we've got physical touch.
I want the ability to have sex.
Yes, that's part of it, but do not get the idea that that's the only concept about this language. Sometimes just being within arm's reach is enough to make you feel valued and wanted. Connection that is felt before it's believed. Holding hands, longer hugs, brushing their hair back to see their eyes better, and leaning in a little closer to make sure they feel heard when the world around them gets too loud.
He's almost bigger than both my hands.
Are we still talking about Jax?
At the end of the day, we're animals built for survival. Whenever you decide to be so physically vulnerable with someone, there's an unspoken trust taking place. You won't hurt me, and I won't hurt you. You're safe, you're chosen, you're worth it. Your nervous system literally calms down when you're around them.
Have I ever told you how it's my dream to get eaten by you?
That's a weird thing to say and want.
If you could literally allow them to hold your heart in their hands, you'd probably let them. It's that feeling of being in a crowded room, having eyes for no one else, spinning them around to the music, and not being afraid of anyone else watching. Once you understand which language you're most fluent in, once you identify your love language, the way love feels most impactful to you, you start to notice the impact it has on others based on theirs. You start to understand why love can get lost in translation, even though both of you are fluent in your own languages.
How am I gonna please everybody if you all like different things?
What caught my attention the most when learning about the love languages is that the easiest way to identify your love language isn't by asking what makes you feel loved, but by noticing what makes you feel the least loved. The things that hurt the most are often the things that you value the most. If any of the following examples ends up hitting too close to home, you might have just found your love language. Even if it doesn't, you need to make sure you're not doing it to someone else if it's theirs. The sad truth with words of affirmation being your love language is that if it isn't said, it isn't real.
I want you to tell me exactly what I am.
You depend on verbal confirmation like it's life or death because uncertainty does nothing but chip away at your health. It also hurts when you give the kind of words that would mean everything to you and it seems like nothing to them. The long, thoughtful text message getting a dry reply, your encouragement just ends up fueling their anxiety, your reassurance just gets met with silence.
If you ever need to talk to somebody or need help with anything, I'm here.
Then of course there's the complete opposite of words of affirmation, words of refutation. If you depend on verbal feedback to feel anything about yourself, words that degrade you will hurt more than sticks and stones ever could.
You must be misremembering.
You're always overreacting. Why can't you be like others? I never asked you to do that for me. The worst of it all, being lied to, truth being held back, promises not being kept. If the foundation of your relationship is built on words, betrayal causes the entire structure to collapse. If you couldn't keep your word here, what else have you lied about or don't plan on following through with?
I do not care about you or anyone else in this circus in the slightest.
It doesn't just feel like a disagreement. It can feel like a disapproval of their entire identity. Praise builds you, insults erase you, and silence makes you start listening to the voices in your head instead. If you're a quality time person, what happens when your quality assurance department says certain metrics aren't being met?
I've already told you what my problem is. You just never remember because... never mind.
You need to remember that you can stand next to someone and still feel alone. You mistake absence for abandonment and rain checks for rejections. Why are they distracted? Why do I have to keep repeating myself? Why don't they want to spend time with me?
You're probably not even listening.
Zool, look at this cool bee I drew!
Sometimes it causes you to feel so scared or empty during someone's absence that when you do spend time together, you can't fully enjoy it because you can't help but feel about how this will all be over soon.
Weren't we kind of bonding over being chaotic evil together?
I was merely entertaining you because I thought it was funny.
Your presence isn't just peace, it's proof. They made time for you and now you won't make time for them. Distraction equals distance. Meaning matters more than minutes. How can you imagine a future with someone who can't even appreciate the present?
She came to me wanting to be on my team. I said no. Why did I do that?
What happens when it comes to receiving gifts and the gift is not well received?
Tommy, take this!
Thoughtless gifts or forgotten occasions tend to hurt more if this is your language. You gotta put up a front, because of course I'm glad you got me something, but if you actually knew anything about me, you'd know that I can't do anything with this. You know I'd never use this, and you know I don't like this flavor or this color. I told you this before, so it feels like you weren't listening.
Here, have guns. I don't care anymore.
And I know that sounds super selfish and entitled, but if the gift feels more checked off than chosen, then it stops feeling thoughtful and starts feeling like empty evidence, feeling like you weren't chosen. You might also notice the weight you might be carrying with every gift that you hold close. The love imbued into a gift is now permanently correlated with the person you got it from, which doesn't help if that person left some sad memories behind too. Every plushie you got, every song you used to dance to, every photo you took of them, every fallen flower petal in your passenger seat. Your home has become a museum of everyone you've once loved. Anyone whose acts of service absolutely hates hearing the words, if they wanted to, they would. Or, I never asked you to do that. Not because it isn't true, but because it might be. It may not reflect what's actually happening, but you can't help but let those insecurities take the wheel. You're not important to them, you're not an obligation, you're an option. Your existence is not worth their effort. It's so much more than saying, I did this for you and I get nothing in return. When someone with this love language helps you, it's because they chose to. It's trying to demonstrate consistency, not demand a contract. Nobody wants love to feel transactional. The problem isn't regretting doing things for them. The problem is when what you do for them starts to feel expected rather than appreciated.
I'm on it, boss!
Why are you like this?
Eventually, it becomes frustrating when you have to ask someone to do the very things you would have done for them without hesitation. Now you start to think, I do everything, I'm the only one trying, or if I don't handle it, it'll never get done.
Why are you asking me?
It starts to feel like parenting instead of a partnership, where you start taking on responsibilities that were never yours to begin with. Sacrifice starts to feel like submission, and selflessness starts to feel like surrender. Physical touch can be one of the most complicated love languages because not everyone is comfortable with it right away. For some people, physical contact in new relationships can feel more frightening than comforting. But for those who absolutely depend on it, a lack of presence can feel like a lack of trust. It's quite literally about distance, physical and emotional. If you don't trust your hand in mine, how am I supposed to trust my heart with yours? Which is why the deepest wound comes when physical vulnerability is given and nothing is returned, or returned in the wrong way. For them to literally see parts of you that you hide from the rest of the world just to look right past you once it's over. When someone reaches for your body but never reaches for you. When the world around you doesn't seem to stop moving, sometimes all you can ask for is someone to stay put right next to you. It should be no surprise that not having a warm body to be near does nothing but make you feel cold. It's important to understand the basics of the languages, not just so you can love someone the way they prefer to be loved, but also so that you don't confuse the fact that just because you don't feel it doesn't mean they're not trying. They're just communicating their love in the only ways they know how, in their own language. Loneliness does not come from having no people around you, but from being unable to communicate the things that seem important to you. Treating others the way you want to be treated still applies, of course, but every now and then, taking a step back and learning how to treat others how they want to be treated can be the grand gesture needed to keep things going further. Love isn't just about what you feel, it's about what the other person can actually receive. Because how we express love through the languages is only half the story. How we react when we feel it or don't feel it is the other half. Our attachment style. I've been fighting anxious attachment my entire life, and so far I've never won a single skirmish. In fact, there were times where I was so defeated by it that I even switched sides and developed avoidant attachment. Not because I stopped caring, but because I knew I cared too much and how destructive it could be, especially when I feel like I gave it to the wrong people. Did I do something wrong? Do I need to reach out again? Did they lose feelings? Did they ever have feelings? How can I fix this? What words do I need to say to make sure they stay and not leave like everyone else?
I feel like every day we're drifting further apart. Like she's seen through all my tricks and doesn't trust me anymore. Before I know it, she'll be a different person. One who doesn't even want me around.
That is anxious attachment. Avoidant attachment is the near opposite. You're intimidated by intimacy. You remember that love always ends in loss. You're scared thinking, what if the more they know me, the less they'll want me?
What if? It wasn't real. So it doesn't matter. Never did.
You're terrified of your inability to become the person they already think you are. You don't need to worry about the ups and downs of a relationship roller coaster when you don't even want to line up for the ride.
There's nothing more to me. So please, just stop looking.
The anxiously attached thinks they can only be safe when they know for sure someone won't leave, and the avoidant is not sure if they'll ever be safe with someone ever again. Two sides of the same coin, both paying the same price, trying to stay safe in the only way they learned how. I learned that love can leave at any moment, a lesson I had to relearn every time I opened up. Every time I stood up for myself was apparently selfish. Every time I was honest, I was told I was inconsiderate. And every time I wasn't perfect, I was punished.
Don't they get that I'm trying?
Maybe you're just genuinely bad at this.
One wrong word, one bad day, one tear shed. All romance is revoked and all that love becomes a lesson. I gave up on dating because I was tired of being treated like a second choice, but also doubting if I was ever a choice at all.
You really were the lesser of the two.
Tired of replaying the same 10 conversations at once where 9 of them didn't even happen. I'm tired of dying internally, all because I desperately sought external reassurance. If they wanted to, they would. So if they're not doing it, it means they don't want to. Probably because they don't want me, that I am not someone worth doing something for. I borrow grief from a future that hasn't even happened, so if it actually does end up happening, I can act like I don't care because I saw it coming.
I'd move on and probably forget about you.
Being avoidant was my defense mechanism, a way to leave people before they had a chance to leave me. I don't exactly have a clean track record either. Maybe I was foolish to think I could ever be redeemed. Maybe I was afraid of hurting more people than I already have. But I, of all people, should have known that grief does not go away just because you locked yourself in your room. It just waits for you to open the door again.
Because you're scared. You're scared you'll actually show a human emotion.
Of course, the stars decided that the first time I caught feelings in years would be for someone who isn't ready for a relationship. Unstoppable anxiety meets an immovable avoidant. My need for reassurance versus their need for independence. The problem with this dynamic isn't with them. They're their own person. It's just not their fault that their healing journey happens to be my descent into madness. With anxious attachment, you don't ask why they're not ready, and you don't ask what's going on in their head. You ask why you're not good enough to change their mind and why you're so difficult to be loved.
I try too hard to get on their good side, and then I just end up pushing them away. And then they end up hating me.
So you stop yourself from reaching out harder just so that they don't back up faster, acting like their responses don't make you question what you said last, trying to remember that their boundaries are not your burden to carry.
I thought this was gonna be a mutual thing.
Pretending not to care when they turned around and said you deserve better, even though they're one of the best things that's ever happened to you.
You reached out to me, not the other way around.
After all those years of distance, it's almost laughable to not be able to give your heart to the person who reminded you that you still had one. I think one of the biggest signs that someone is meant to change your life is the way that they feel like a mirror, a connection where you learn more about yourself than you do about them. Your adoration for them causes you to look at every single one of your wounds that haven't healed up yet, and they don't deserve to have that bleed onto them. Your attachment style is a pattern within yourself that existed long before you met them. You're assuming the worst because somewhere along the way, you were taught that you deserve the worst. Maybe you're choosing emotionally unavailable partners because that chaos is a familiar feeling that you've had all your life.
Hey! I didn't say anything like that!
One triggering statement, one awkward silence, one reminder of a scar that someone else left. Your nervous system either shuts down or fights back, whether in the form of over-explaining yourself or completely falling into submission.
We were doing fine, having fun, talking, but you suddenly
You're not committing. Do it.
Maybe, just maybe, it would be better to be flat out rejected just to get it over with. Go back to my old avoidant ways and create resentment that never needed to be there just so I can move on faster.
If I shoot you right now, are we still gonna be friends afterwards?
We were never friends.
On one hand, it's not fair to have them go through the guilt of hurting me just for me to back off. But on the other hand, I'm afraid that if I did tell them what it would take, they wouldn't hesitate to do it.
No, we're not doing this. You're not gonna look me in the eye and tell me nothing we've been doing together meant anything to you, because I know that's not true.
They are a mirror. When they said they're not ready for a relationship, it was a star's way of saying that I wasn't ready for one either. That's when I realized that my fear of losing them ended up becoming the reason I lost them. Whenever someone asks me what's my love language, I always like to respond with, unfortunately, all 6 of them.
Are you sure?
6.
Yeah, 6.
It may seem like I'm just trying to be funny here, but I know for a fact you've all heard it before. If you love something, let it go.
We're doing another one of these.
Distance makes the heart grow fonder. Out of sight, not out of mind. Right person, wrong time. But if they were the right person, there wouldn't be a wrong time. The 6th love language. Space. I know what you're thinking. How can you love someone if you're not even with them? I want to spend quality time with them. I want to give them affirmation. I want to physically be next to them at all times and give them gifts and provide them with my service. But the 6th love language of giving someone space isn't about absence. It's about autonomy. It's about knowing that you can still choose them without chasing them.
The way I see it, relationships are two-sided, and sometimes it doesn't make sense to do all the heavy lifting when the other isn't in the mood.
It's accepting the fact that you, despite your intentions, may be the only thing stopping them from becoming who they were always meant to be. It's saying that I would rather sit with the pain of not having you in my life than the pain of you not having the life you deserve.
We all go through and deal with things differently, and sometimes you just need to let people do things their own way, as long as you're still there when they need you.
It's not if they wanted to, they would, because I can come up with so many things that I want to do for them, but it's not about what I want. It's about what they need, or at least what they're asking for, which is a foundation and a safe space to understand their next steps. Desire exists on a different plane than capacity. What they're going through can be so much more than what they're showing. Taking on the idea that they don't want to equals they don't want you is going to cause you damage that could have been prevented. Just like the other 5 love languages, if wanting space is your language, intimacy becomes invasive and emotionally intense. Smothering them reduces the scarcity.
If you tell someone they're loved and appreciated every day, it kind of loses all meaning. It just feels like she's trying to take advantage of you, you know?
Maybe it's not about standing there and thinking I can fix them. Maybe it's just trying to rewire their expectations. In a world where everyone's taught to protect their peace, leaving at the first red flag, a love like this is rare. It's not delusion, it's dedication, it's devotion. They're afraid of opening back up just to be left alone, yet in the meantime, right before their eyes, there's someone who refuses to leave before they even got together.
Giving someone space should never be the same as giving up on them.
You can't love someone into being ready or thinking they're a reward for waiting so patiently. You need to sit back and make sure that you're not suffocating someone who's still learning how to breathe again. Maybe the reason why it's the sixth love language is because it's often the last one we give. A final act of love where you realize that holding on to each other is causing you to lose yourselves. Everyone knows the 3 magic words that every relationship needs. I love you. But no one talks about the words that can quietly destroy one. I'll wait for you. There's no greater feeling than putting others before yourself, to be patient, to be understanding, to let them know that you'll be standing at the finish line for whatever they're running from. But when does that gesture of selflessness becomes a lack of self-worth and a disregard towards their boundaries? Saying I'll wait for you to someone who's still trying to figure things out turns their uncertainties into responsibilities.
Can you just give us some time to process everything?
Or how about we skip the melodrama and get right to the fun?
They're still trying to figure out who they are and shouldn't be expected to become the person you want them to be. Like they have to worry about stringing you along while they're not sure which path they need to be taking.
Have you ever thought that this might be what causes people to abstract in the first place?
You volunteered to help rebuild something that someone else broke, treating them like a puzzle piece that was never yours to solve. When it comes to them going through their healing arc, you need to accept the fact that you might be a side character. You can be crucial in moving the plot forward and reminding them they're not alone, but this is their story. Get back to writing yours.
Constantly chasing an unattainable goal will drive us crazy.
This is how giving someone space can become a one-sided love. A day of no contact for you is just a normal day for them. Staying where you aren't wanted teaches them that there are no consequences for abusing your patience. You're not chasing them because they want you, you're chasing them because you hope they eventually will. But you are too full of love just to be someone's maybe latership.
You deserve better than thinking about him when he's not even here.
How you feel about someone is different from how they make you feel. You can think they're funny, caring, beautiful, but if they make you feel disregarded, anxious, and optional, you're getting a preview of what the entire relationship would be like.
Too bad they cut me off, right?
Yeah.
After all their indecisiveness, all of a sudden you think you know what they want? It's not healthy to be pushing open a door that they asked you to lock. All you realize is that you've stood still for someone who's already walked away.
If I led you on, it was just to make this part hurt you more.
It's hard to want something that you know may never happen, but it's harder to give up when you know that it's everything that you want. If I wait, it'll never be me, but if I move on, it'll never be you. Connection is not something to be chased, it's something to be chosen. Chosen regardless of the consequences. Ask yourself, if nothing changes, if I get nothing in return, would I still choose to give this? If the answer is no, it's not unconditional. It's contracting, it's bargaining. Don't be too ashamed. You have every right to make sure you're getting something out of a relationship, but how long you're willing to go without it is a choice you need to be prepared to make.
I don't even know what I want. I just want everyone to be happy. And I don't want people to hate me.
Do you hate yourself?
The next step in giving someone space is giving yourself grace. Your respect for yourself needs to outweigh your desperation to be loved. At some point, what you give to others has to be something you're willing to give to yourself too. I don't think one-sided love is a bad thing, so as long as you're not forgetting the most important rule.
What is this? Why'd you do that? Can you get that thing away from me?
You can't love someone unless you love yourself first. What, that's just it? Love yourself and have fun?
I didn't say have fun.
Anxious attachment fears being too much. Avoidant attachment fears not being enough. Two different defenses working against the same fear of losing love. The only way to combat that fear is to love yourself, so that even if they leave, everything's gonna be okay. There's no panic for reassurance and no collapse if things don't work out. Don't allow someone else's uncertainty to define your identity. Don't ask them to prove your value and instead realize it was never theirs to prove. Every day your life stays on pause while waiting for someone is a day you could have spent building a life someone would actually want to be a part of. Going quiet doesn't mean you stopped caring. It just means you're done screaming just to feel heard.
At least you tried. You know, he might be back in a future adventure.
Sometimes I wish I knew how to give myself the same relentless love I try to give to others. Maybe I'm drawn to people that let me take responsibility for their problems just so I never have to face mine.
Maybe you just needed a break. It sounds to me like you put a lot of pressure on yourself to be there for everyone, and when you're not, you beat yourself up for it.
Now, let's say you got it to work. You chose all the right voice lines and got the ending you wanted. How much of it was personal and how much of it was a performance? They'll fall in love with the piece you manufactured, not realizing it came at the cost of your own. You spent so long translating yourself into their language that you're left speechless trying to speak your own. Ask yourself, are you saying I will do and say whatever it takes to keep you around? Or are you saying I want to learn how to live in new ways with you? Maybe the things you fear might happen in your relationship are already happening with yourself. Not giving yourself encouragement, not spending time alone to reflect, not doing things that'll help your tomorrow, not taking care of your body, and not giving yourself space from other people's expectations.
How are you supposed to like the part of yourself that just makes you worse than everyone else?
'Cause it exists. It's a part of you that's real. And the only you that you should care about is the real you.
The best thing about self-love is that you're not talking to a friend who's growing distant or a situationship that's ghosting you. You're talking to the one person who's been with you your entire life. Because if there's anyone you should be able to speak freely with, it's you. The one person who already knows your past, your mistakes, and your scars better than anyone else. The one person who never needed convincing to stay. Everyone dreams of the day they can hold someone close, look them in the eyes, and say, I'm not giving up on you. But when was the last time you looked at yourself and said the same thing? You were never hard to love. You were just giving your love to someone who didn't know how to hold it.
You have to choose to love yourself, even if it doesn't make sense.
Have you ever had to make that choice?
And don't you guys love it when you find another character that makes you feel seen? Another character that makes you go, oh, he's just like me for real. And the next thing you know, they're the most hated character in the show. For me, that was Jax. The rabbit beyond redemption, the asshole who pushes people away to protect their own peace, the guy who slaps on a smile and cracks jokes that probably cause more hurt than laughter.
I'm the one who causes pain for fun!
I felt like my confidence always existed to hide my cowardice. I hide under a mask while shooting people down, acting like I don't care because deep down I know I care too much.
I didn't think you cared about what other people like.
No, yeah, you're right. I don't.
I figured that if I never let anyone in, I wouldn't have to get hurt once they leave. I wouldn't have to worry about someone wanting less of me the more they learned about me, once they learned the things that not even my closest friends know about.
Do you have any actual friends?
Not anymore.
Here I am making these mental health videos as if I'm not on the verge of abstracting every time I go to bed, inserting myself into these characters because it's the only way I know how to explain how I feel about myself, hoping that my stories serve as cautionary tales so that others don't make the same mistakes as me.
Oh my god! Are you seriously gonna blame me for something that everybody else did too? You didn't even know him! You don't even know what people are like before they abstract!
But one day, things changed in a way I never saw coming. One day I stopped and realized,
I'm not Jax.
Every now and then, someone shows up and helps you see the things about yourself that you never would have discovered alone. Someone who proofreads the narrative that you wrote by yourself and makes you realize that this isn't the full story. They told me I reminded them of Kinger. The way they think I'm selfless, possibly insane, the way I know my way around a gun, and just the way that I speak when I comfort and motivate people with my videos.
You know, I'm starting to think...
I didn't know how to react. They even got me a little Kinger gun keychain to remind me of it. After all this time, I saw myself as the misunderstood little chicken fetus in an egg that needed to be cracked open. And now, all of a sudden, I'm being told I'm more like the wise, compassionate, anxious king who shines the brightest when helping people through the darkness. And that affirmation healed me more than I gave them credit for. When you're alone with your thoughts for too long, you start building a version of yourself based off your fears, your insecurities, and your worst moments. The kindness you thought was wasted, the patience you thought was weak, the resilience you thought was just survival. One day, you'll find someone who shows some love towards the parts of yourself that you hated the most.
I hated myself. I couldn't help but hate myself for the things I thought I was responsible for. I thought I'd lost everything. But then, you showed up, and my outlook just... changed. Just hold on to me. We'll get through it together.
Breathtaking! The committee's gonna love that.
Okay, you know what's gonna happen when you do all this? You gave them all that space, and now congratulations on helping them heal for someone else. And you wasted all your time waiting for them to be ready. But it wasn't wasted. I get it. You put all your eggs in one basket and watched as someone else walk away with it, even though you paid for it. If all you did was prepare them for someone else, if all you did was keep the fire alive in a place they thought had gone cold, how dare you say it was wasted? If you were asking for more, that's how you know it was more about you and not them. I saw it coming. I'm an overthinker, I'm an anxious planner, and I'm dangerously observant. I've already thought of every reason why this wouldn't work, and I couldn't help but be reminded of how I was hurt this exact same way before. But I still gave it a chance, and I'm proud of that. No revenge, no resentment, no regret for anyone I loved, the people who hurt me or the people who were never able to love me back. Why? Because they were probably the kind of people that needed it the most. I gave them the kind of love most people still pray for, doing my best to make up for all the times I hurt people instead. This is me loving myself. Finally being true to who I am after years of being more afraid of being too much than I was of being too little. I'd rather sit with the silence that comes with unreciprocated yet honest love than to continue being someone who's too afraid to love at all.
I guess I just don't want you to feel like you're nothing. I don't want anybody to feel like that.
My anxiety, my overthinking, my need to always over-explain is exactly what gives me the ability to make these kinds of videos. What mentally stable person uses the amazing digital circus to explain the love languages? Only a few people will actually watch this video, and even fewer will actually get something out of it, no matter how much effort I put into making it. The care I put into something will never perfectly match someone else's ability to receive it. That's how I know my relationships weren't wasted, because even if it didn't go anywhere, it still led me here. It pushed me to reflect, to understand myself, and to turn that experience into something I can share with others. In case you forgot, this is coming from someone like me who's never been in a healthy relationship. But nonetheless, it's still coming from someone who's showing up, being vulnerable, and trying to grow. If there's anyone out there on the same path as I am, here's what helped me keep moving forward. Love isn't just saying that you love the funny and supportive person. Real love is also saying that distant and damaged people deserve love too. Valuing you regardless of what mask you're currently wearing, and loving every part of you, even the ones you want to change. Love is patient, love is kind. Delays are not always denials. Your prayers aren't granted right away, the same way he doesn't smite you on the spot every moment you sin. Just know that they were placed in your life just as much as you were placed in theirs. Maybe because he knew that you were the only person that could pray for them the way that you do. So here's to us, those who love too hard and break too easily, those of us who give the ones we've lost a little bit more time to shine, even if it costs you your own light. Love who you have to love, feel what you need to feel. Guilt, shame, ego, things that might make you worried about what they think about you, useless. You are a goddamn human being. You should not be embarrassed to love another human being. They don't want to do anything? Fine. But your love is real, and you are always allowed to have that.
It doesn't matter what could have happened. We could argue about it and hurt each other all day long, but that's not gonna help anybody.
I actually hate the idea of the love languages, especially because I speak all of them. Words hurt, time slips away, acts can feel performative, gifts carry weight, touch can feel distant, and space becomes inevitable. The strange part about learning psychology is that sometimes it doesn't make things easier. It just makes you catch yourself falling apart in 4K. Sitting there in real time, recognizing what your nervous system is doing, remembering which past wound caused this, and still not being able to stop it.
How about we try not thinking about it?
You're literally watching a video where I over-explain myself while talking about my need to always over-explain myself. The more emotionally aware you become, the easier it is to identify with damage. You feel hurt when they ignore your message? Pass abandonment. You try to be careful with your words so you don't hurt them? Trauma response. You feel like this love is one-sided? You must not love yourself enough.
Maybe you deserved to be abandoned.
At some point you start wondering, why do the ways I love always have to be correlated with the ways I was hurt? Don't get me wrong, you shouldn't argue with science. Giving emotions names is the first step in helping us understand them. But why is it always green flag this and red flag that? Boundaries here and self-worth there, like we started diagnosing basic human vulnerability as personality disorders. And then we wonder why modern dating feels so lonely and volatile. Even things like love languages or attachment styles starts to feel like they're D&D alignment charts. Makes me feel like I'm on the character wiki of an RPG game and I'm searching which voice lines to choose to get a specific ending. Oh, she double texted. She must have anxious attachment and unresolved childhood trauma. Oh, he likes being stepped on and being called a good boy? He must be physical touch and words of affirmation. One awkward moment of vulnerability can end a connection before it even begins. If the only thing you learn from emotional intelligence is how to walk away, that's not protecting your peace. That's playing in preference. These behaviors were reinforced over years of emotional survival, so there's no way they'll disappear overnight. Stop treating the ways we love as illnesses that need to be cured, but as parts of you that just needs to be regulated and appreciated. Maybe that's why I say my love language is all 6 of them, or even why I believe in a 6th one anyway. When I first learned about the 5 love languages, my first reaction was, wait, I have to pick one? Like, what do you mean there's only 5 ways to love someone? Which love language is telling someone to drive home safely after a date? Which one explains wanting to meet your partner's family so you can learn to love the people who shaped them? Which one covers sitting at a grave, telling a tombstone how much you've grown since the last time you visited? And which love language is spoken when you look someone in the eyes and say, I don't know what you're going through, but I won't let you go through it alone? Back in the day, before someone founded the 5 love languages, the 4 attachment styles, the 3 green flags every partner should have, before we called it any of these psychological labels, we called it love. Love and everything we expect out of our relationships with the beautiful humans to our left and right can be so vast and so limitless. I highly doubt that we can sum them up in 5 different ways. At the end of the day, every relationship, romantic, familial, friendship, or even team-based, it all comes down to something much simpler. It's 2 or more people looking at each other and saying, let's grow together. And considering how limited our time on this planet really is, how cool is it that we get to choose who we let into our weird little worlds and spend whatever time we have left walking through life beside them? People think that love and loss are opposites, but the truth is, they're cause and effect. No matter how long it lasted or how hard it held you, all love ends in grief. A talking stage that didn't work out, a long-term marriage ending in a divorce, or saying goodbye when death decides to do you part. If every love story has a final chapter, why even bother reading?
Sometimes it all just feels pointless. But it's not. Not if you have people who care about you. Good memories can do a lot. Hold on to them and cherish the people around you. You never know when they'll be gone.
If people only fell in love when they were guaranteed forever, humanity would have gone extinct a long time ago. Grief is just love with nowhere to go. So maybe that's why I've learned to love the way I do, to hold on the way I do. Without warning, I first experienced grief before I even knew how to spell it. My past is full of people I wish I could have said, I love you too, one more time. It embedded a fear that I carry with me to this day. Every interaction could be the last, every word could be final, and every bit of silence is just a goodbye waiting to happen. But their stories will continue to motivate and guide us until the day we become someone else's story. If you believe that the light shines even though the star is gone, maybe 6 feet isn't as far as we thought. If you can have that much love for someone who's no longer here, it doesn't seem too crazy to put aside some love for someone who isn't here yet. Maybe they're no longer the person you thought you'd build a future with. Maybe they're no longer walking on this earth, but there's no such thing as right person, wrong time. You met them exactly when you needed to, and you learned everything you needed to learn from them. Everything and everyone that happens to you is strategically designed to turn you into the person you are always meant to be. Even if it was love, even if it was pain, even if it was temporary, even if it's here to stay. That pain is proof that you were blessed to have someone worth losing. It gave you a glimpse into the love you deserve before you were ready to receive it, so that by the time you are ready, you'll already know what you're holding and you won't need to let go. Maybe what made it real was knowing that the ending isn't any more important than the events that led up to it.
Will it be the same when it's real?
It always was real. Everything we felt, everything we've done, everything we are. It'll never leave us. And I wouldn't have it any other way.
I had a really hard time making this video. It felt like I was writing instructions I didn't even want to follow.
I always think I'm prepared for these things, but then you set up the picture and, well, I'm already breaking.
I'm here preaching communication is key, even though I know that just because it's unlocked doesn't mean they want to walk through the door. Because as we know, it's better to admit that you walked through the wrong door than to spend your whole life in the wrong room. I feel like the worst heartbreaks aren't from the people that hurt you. I feel like they come from the people who you swear would have shined so bright if the world hadn't dimmed their light before you got to them. It hurts to want to give them the moon and the stars just to realize that all they want right now is space. To tell them, I want the best for you, and I have to accept that the best for you might not include me. But they shine a mirror at the parts of you that you never would have seen alone. They broke down the walls you spent so long building as they opened your eyes to the version of yourself you thought you lost sight of. You're probably thinking, I'll never find anyone like them again. I'll never feel this way again. Well, you're right. You never will. Why? Because we're not supposed to replace the people we've loved. You're meant to enjoy the gift that was them and only them, knowing that the next person will be their own miracle. Letting someone go doesn't sound so bad when you remember that you haven't met everyone that you'll ever love. If the love was real, you wouldn't want to erase it anyway. Letting go without resentment is how you allow something beautiful to stay a memory instead of a tragedy.
You're not gonna remember any of this, are you?
Don't worry about me. As long as you remember it, things will be okay.
And that's something I'm still learning. Because if I'm being completely honest, I don't know if I'm ready to let go yet. Maybe everything I wrote here is something I'm still trying to convince myself of. But if it didn't call me out, if it didn't teach me these labels, if it didn't hurt this much, then it wouldn't have been worth telling this story. We are not defined by the love we received. We're defined by the love we give. If they didn't receive it, that's okay. You're only watching this because you're the type of person that still has so much more to give. Just don't forget to give some to yourself too.
There are always ways to show you care without ruining yourself over it. You need to look out for yourself in all this too.
Sometimes love isn't always about ending up together. It might just be about meeting someone who reminds you of who you could be. Someone who believes in you more than they seem to believe in themselves. Someone who shined like a shooting star in a place you thought would stay dark forever. Someone whose kindness seems alien to you since they don't seem to be anything similar to the world you're used to. No matter what happens next, whether you end up together or never speak to each other ever again. It's strange how we admire the stars but forget that the darkness is what made them visible. If you're shining this much in a moment where you still feel like you need to be more, then I can't wait to see how bright you'll be once you finally get there. Because if there's no hope for you, what hope is there for me?
Quick! Pretend we weren't having a therapy session!
Because you only need the light when it's burning low, and you'll only miss the sun when it starts to snow. You only know you love him when you let him go.